Welcome to Connor versus Cobb, a podcast experience. Hey, if you want to win tickets to the winter, fucking, let's start over. I was turning into radio mode. I was gonna say, call the fourth caller to use the phrase that pays wins tickets to the winter concert-a-thon. Just call us at 483-275 Sealand and tell us the phrase that pays, and you will get one ticket to see REO Speedwagon. One ticket.
Dude,
see it by yourself.
I gotta tell you, man, yesterday, when I was wait, where is it that you did this?
Great start.
Well, we're not recording yet, are we?
No, we are, I think. I think we just keep it. It was stupid enough and bad enough. I think people either want their podcast to be really good or great. I think they want their podcast to be great or horrible.
Wait, are we doing this or not?
Yeah, we're recording.
This is so funny to me that yesterday I texted you and was like, I heard Rachel, which is Ryan's girlfriend. I heard Rachel has been talking shit about me. Put a stop to it right now. Mm-hmm. And then you said she's been put on notice. And then I said, unbelievably, I've been nothing but decent to Rachel ever. And then you said, that's what bothers me about this. It's unfair. It's such a stupid
it's unfair
of text that makes me laugh.
It's not right what she does to you.
I don't deserve it.
And you don't deserve it. You've been nothing but good to her.
Decent. I've been very decent.
Yeah. If anyone doesn't know us, none of this is real. The texts are real, but she's not bad mouthing them. Let me tell you this, Nick. Have you ever been told you look like a famous person?
Many times.
Who?
Depends on how old I was.
Let's hear them. Any ridiculous ones?
Nah. Earlier on, like when I was younger, I would get Ryan Reynolds when people were being particularly kind, like my mom.
It's like Van Wilder or something?
Sure. But most of the time, for the last 20 years, more often than not, I get Ron Livingston. That's who I bring.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
I get Ron Livingston, which if it weren't for Scientology, I'd be full on board. I mean, I like his...
He's a Scientologist?
Think so. Pretty sure he is.
Did not know that.
But, I mean, it's hard to argue with stuff that he's put out there. I mean, Band of Brothers, he was great. Obviously, Office Space.
All the stuff about ridding yourself of thetans. It's great.
Yep. Particularly, nail on the head. And more recently, the last one I got, I think, was Bryan Cranston.
Sure. I could see you going out for the same role. I don't think you look like him, but I could see you going for the same role, like from him 20 years ago. So you never got an absolutely ridiculous one?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I've got two. The most.
What'd you get? Like Forrest Whitaker or something? I mean,
who'd you say?
Did you get Forrest Whitaker or something? I mean,
no, Matt Prater, the kicker. No. That'll be a funny one. You kind of look like the Lions kicker. No. No, when I was when my brother Hakeem was a teenager, he said I looked like Dirk Nowitzki, and it really offended my mom because she was like, Dirk Nowitzki is hideous, and really we just had the same haircut, and I'm a good shooter. And then we realized that Hakeem could not distinguish different faces of white people. Everything was based on the haircut, which is
so insulting to Dirk. I never thought of him as an unattractive guy.
That's what my mom said. Look, it doesn't. I think he's a great basketball player. Who cares? That one playoff. Actually two. They got robbed the one time. Anyway, sure. Doesn't matter.
Which team do you think was better? The one against the Heat or the one against the Heat?
They're both against the Heat, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean, though.
I think better overall team the year they lost and got screwed. But then Dirk was just unstoppable the year they won.
I love it. His post-championship celebration, like his immediate reaction, I loved how he just walked off the court because he couldn't handle it.
I don't remember that, but it's not the point of the story. Here's the point of the story.
That's a bummer.
Here's the point of the story.
Mm.
Rachel and I are at this bar on Friday night, and the like food runner comes. He drops off our food, and he goes, I'm sorry. Has anyone ever told you you look just like Dale Earnhardt Jr.?
No. And you're such a fan too. I mean, that must have been you. Feels so good.
I said, no, I don't think anyone's ever been told they look like Dale Earnhardt Jr. And he goes, it's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Yeah, when they have to reassure you.
And then he walks away. This dude was like 20 years old. Dale Earnhardt Jr. stopped being a NASCAR driver, 15 years ago, probably? I'm like, how does this guy know who Dale Earnhardt Jr. even is? And that he recalls him. I look nothing like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
No, you don't look a thing like him.
I mean, it's stunning. I'm telling, and I heard it, and Rachel's like, "What did he say to you?" And I was like, "I can't tell you right now because we'll laugh too hard for public. We will be laughing too hard. I can't even tell you."
I mean, Dale Earnhardt Jr. looks like kind of a raggedy, drunken version of Jim Courier and the old tennis player.
Right.
And that doesn't look anything like you. You look, I mean, maybe if like Dale decided to become like a librarian or work at Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that, maybe. But
yeah, we just have the same facial hair pattern. That's it.
What pattern? You just have a regular beard.
Yeah, like a beard. That's what I mean. It's like it's just a beard, but then like the color is about the same as how his was.
I guess, but he could have just said Sean Connery and you would have been pleased.
I would have said which movie, but
Highlander. You're Sean Connery in Highlander.
There you go. There you go. Anyway, I'm telling you, man, it threw me off. And I didn't tell Rachel till we were outside of the restaurant. And I was like, he said I look like Dale Earnhardt Jr. She didn't know who it was. But when we met, she had a Dale Earnhardt shirt. And she was like, and it had his face, and it just said Dale Earnhardt number 3. And
she did not.
Yeah, she lost it.
Oh man, that is a bummer. What a shirt for Rachel to wear when she's talking massive amounts of shit.
She has no idea who he is. But anyway, she was like, his son, and I said, yeah, his son. I was like, he looks nothing like his dad, but still. No. And anyway, everything about it was just baffling. In LA, probably a 20-year-old Mexican American dude knows what Dale Earnhardt Jr. looks like.
Pretty long odds. Pretty long.
Yeah, I would have expected anything over that. Michael B. Jordan would have been like more expected.
Yeah, Rebecca De Mornay. That's what you look like.
Rebecca De Mornay. Maybe he was watching movies on USA this week or something.
You probably do look more like Rebecca De Mornay if you're clean shaven. Do. You look nothing like Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., the little intimidator.
It's not exactly insulting. It's just really odd.
Yeah, it's not insulting. It's just weird.
No, it's just very.
That's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, was there a bet? I was looking around and no one was reacting, and I don't know. But let me tell you something I heard you say right before we started recording that is so funny because I do. Everyone does this. You hear it on the street sometime. You were sending a text to your wife via voice, and it's just so funny to hear someone go, "I love you," period.
Yeah.
I love you, period. Heading home, period. Excited to see you or whatever. No, excited to get home, period. Bye. Period.
The first person I ever heard do that, like when it first came out, was a guy. I used to do moving jobs, like when I first moved to LA, did a few moving jobs here and there. Mm-hmm. And the guy that ran the company used to do that. And it was always when he dealt with complaints where he'd be like, look, period. We were on time, period. we're sorry about the coffee table, period. But you told them specifically not to wrap it! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! Otherwise, we use Saran wrap. Period. It was great. I love
Did
it.
you work for a proper moving company or one of those like rock and roll movers, like comic movers?
I don't know. It was Joe's Movers. I don't know
It
if
was just
that'd
it
be
was a real moving company then. It wasn't like because in New York, a lot of comics were for this moving company that was just comics, and who's hiring them?
Oh, I had a comic. I won't say their name, but like came over to my place. I had no idea. Like, I mean, I don't know. It was just picking up a couch that I had sold, and I
Yeah,
couldn't believe who I saw. And
yeah.
it was an awkward situation
Oh,
where like
I,
he did not want to be seen doing this. He certainly didn't want to be recognized doing it, and he didn't want me to recognize him doing it
oh, he was doing it for a company, not for himself. He's
for a
picking it up
company.
for someone else. Oh,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Basically that. Yeah, it was this company that I mean, we know a lot of people who work for it, but it's just comics moving stuff, and of course they're lazy, so they take forever and they damage so much. I worked for them for like 2 or 3 days, and it was awful because I remember I'll just say me and Andy Haynes worked very hard. We wanted to get the day over with so we can go home, and everyone else is like, yeah, let's just relax, okay, let's take our time. And so then Andy and I end up overexerting ourselves.
Right.
And it's just awful. It's just awful.
It's not a
um
great job. I got to be honest. Like everyone I ever worked with busted their ass. They
yeah.
busted their ass. One time we moved Joe Coy,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in this crazy house. He was not there. We were dealing with his sister or his cousin or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many pair of Nike, how many pair of Jordans he had. Um, but then when we went to get like, a tip at the end, I mean, this is a gorgeous place, and presumably he was moving into a more gorgeous place. Um, I don't even know if I was that part of the move, but whatever. They went to get the tip, and they're like, "Oh, we." She's like, "No, we can't. We can get you tickets to a show or something." And all of us are like, "Nope, no interest."
As a tip, you get tickets to see Joe Coy.
Yes, yep, that's exactly right. And it
Man,
just
we did. I think I must. Yeah, I did 3 days, and my last day, I was moving. He was the creator of. It's not Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. It's either Dungeon. It's like one of those fantasy games where they use figurines when they play.
okay.
Maybe that is Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know. I don't know. It's whatever the giant game is, like worldwide game where they use the figurines when they play. He
Yeah.
is
So he's the cock of the walk.
he's the guy who invented or like makes the actual figurines, like designs them and did the game and everything. It was a 3 or 4 story house it was either Upper East Side or Upper West or Gramercy. It was like one of those things, like full house, statues in the courtyard. He had an elevator.
Jeez.
He didn't pack anything. He wanted us to pack it, including thousands of figurines that he wanted like packed properly.
Mm-hmm.
So they had me start from the top. I'm doing his bedroom, and I'm packing all his stuff, and I found a used condom under the floor, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm out.
Did you walk?
I didn't just walk, but I was like, at the end of today, I'm just not doing this anymore. This
Yeah,
is
I get it,
degrading.
man. That when you had to
And I
pack
worked
them,
at
a lot of
PricewaterhouseCooper instead.
yeah, slight upgrade. It's a tough job, man. There were a lot of people who were getting evicted, and so you'd have to pack them. Or there's one dude who was like had rich, like real rich oil money. I think he was in Beverly Hills, and he was moving out, and it was like a week-long job, and everybody was pumped about it because whenever you did a short job for him, he'd tip you like crazy. But this time it was like, oh, he's not paying you till the end of the week, and so we did like 4 or 5 days, and it's like, okay, now we're gonna split the tip. What's the tip? And everybody got $8, and I think 3 people quit on the spot because we knew like something's up. Something's up. If this dude's regularly tipping you $60 when you're over there for 45 minutes, if you did 40 hours of moving, he's not tipping $8 a piece. So I think a lot of people quit right there. I don't know that I ever went back.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
man.
way. That would
No,
mean he
well,
tipped like $40 total.
right. And when we like asked the owner of it, he was like, "Oh no, he doesn't tip like that." It's like, in matter of fact, he has every other time.
Jesus
Every other time, yeah.
Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It's a racket, man.
It's a really like it's part of the reason why I have back problems to this day is because of that shit. A lot of like moving fridges by yourself up spiral staircases. Believe it or not, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
It was brutal.
Update on the carbon monoxide leak at my house. Did I tell you?
Okay.
I told you about this, right? So 2 HVAC people came out, the second opinion on the carbon monoxide leak, classic. And they replaced it. No more carbon monoxide leak. Hey, but guess what? There's still an intense sulfurous smell. Mostly it would start at like 6:30 p.m. Different sulfurous smell. The other one was the gas leak. It feels like it's like a chemical sulfurous smell. Like it actually like burns your nostrils. This was like a natural, like, organic compound that was just vile. Our landlord puts it off for days, and we're like, dude, you got to do something about this, man. He goes, it's probably just a dead animal under the house. And we're like, we don't know what
Why
it is.
is it always a dead animal? Why do people think that? Why do people still trot out that as an excuse? Like, are there that many dead animals in it?
Yeah, that's not what decomposition would smell like. You get methane for a little bit, but that's not what the overall smell would be, and it wouldn't last for weeks. It's absurd. And we said also
that squirrel's taking a long time to die.
Right. And we're like, also, if it was a dead animal, shouldn't you send someone to look into this? So we finally we were very firm, and we were about to report him to the city. And he sends a plumber, because we were like, we think there's a sewer leak, because that's what this smell is. And I talked to my dad, and he's like, yeah, it's probably some kind of crack under the house from because our house started bowing also after one of the earthquakes.
Jesus.
And so we're like, it probably broke because there was an earthquake. Its epicenter was like a couple miles from here.
Mm-hmm.
So sure enough, a sewer main under our house was completely severed, just spilling shit under our house. And then the cracks in the foundation from that earthquake was allowing the sewer gas to rise up through the floors and get trapped in the walls. And then when the HVAC system would turn on, it would suck it in and blow it out the vents.
God.
He said there was a 4x4 area that was saturated under the house. And he said the reason that it would get so bad around 6:37, he said that's because when everyone is getting home from work. And he's like, it's not, and he's like, everyone's sewage does not pass through your house, but because we're on the top of a hill, the gases will flow up, they will rise. And so we're getting everyone's like, we just got home gases.
Wow.
Flowing into our house.
In a sense, it is a big dead animal underneath you. In a sense, God, the fact that, man, I almost preferred it when your landlord was this guy that I couldn't picture in my head. But now, after you sent me those pictures and he looks the way that he does, it just bothers the shit out of me. This is a guy that looks like his parents put him on a soap opera when he was 2 years old. He's never not been on one. He's never not had that sick gig. And he dresses like he does. I remember meeting a guy at a party where there was some celebrities there. And we were like, what is that pocket on your belt? And he's like, oh. And he unlatches this pocket on his belt. And he's like, I keep this ancient rune in
What's a rune?
Like this ancient, like, isn't that the right word for it? It's like,
how are you spelling the word that you're saying?
Isn't it R-U-N-E? A rune? Hang on, let's see.
Rune
that's it. It's an ancient rune. It was on like something the size of like a Scrabble piece, like a bit thicker.
Right. So it's an ancient alphabet.
Basically, yes.
on
like
this
some
thing.
Sanskrit shit on a Scrabble piece, but apparently authentic. I don't know. Who knows? But he kept this one piece. Have you ever seen like a little baby with a shirt on that has a pocket and a button, and you're like, what is that baby carrying in that little breast pocket that they have? What could they possibly have? You know, like that? Like it was that size pocket on a man on his belt
on
that
a
he carried a
belt.
rune. Yeah. It's like it was like the guy from like Neverending Story or something. Like, why do you have this rune in your belt? And he, you know, there was no answer. He was just like, he just chuckled and went on his way. That's what I think of when I think of your landlord, is somebody who has this weird shit that he wants to show off as if he's like Mr. Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. And he completely avoids gas leaks in his tenant's house.
He's a genuine slumlord. Yeah, the way I told you when we moved in, he hadn't had the house painted, and he just called someone over and they were spot painting around us.
What's spot painting?
Like if there's a mark on the wall, just a swipe of a paintbrush over it.
He didn't actually paint it.
No, just a swipe of a paintbrush on it for the first 2 days we lived here. So there's just like uneven spots on the walls everywhere, and like screws that are in the wall that weren't taken out from the previous owner. And he didn't put something back together, and like there's like a table that's supposed to be built into the wall here, and he's like, and you know, if you don't he's like, we didn't put that back in, but before you move out, you will be responsible for putting it back in, or it'll cost you like $1,000 or something like that. And we're like,
sounds like a cool dude. I mean, talk about a guy who's calling your bluff before you even move in.
Yeah.
Because you're moving in and he's like, what, you're going to bitch about this, about that, about the radiator, about the paint? I know you're not moving off of this place because you see the view, you see the property. Yeah, you're not moving.
That's the problem. Like we pay the amount of money we pay, you would get a mansion anywhere else in the United States.
Sure.
And it's like, it's just baffling. We got to get out of here.
And but he's just calling your bluff right away. He's like, look, anyone who moves in here, it's not for the house.
It's not for the house.
It's for the view. It's for the property. View. So what do I give a shit about this closet door that's not completely flush? You know, what do I care? They're not moving because of that.
It's more than that. Like the downstairs bathroom the door hasn't closed since August.
And no, I know. I wasn't even referring to that, but I just mean like insane. he's not gonna care about that stuff. It's not like you're in the valley where you're like, this isn't a great place. It's not a great view. It needs to be a great place for me to deal with the lack of view. And my only view is of this hostage situation that's going on 20 feet away, which was my place.
With a machete.
Yeah, and a guy with a machete who just walked by when we were going to get the mail.
His house.
Yeah, we must have called the cops 30 times, easily. 30
was it
times.
the same thing? So at my old apartment, I lived over at Atwater Village. I walked down Los Feliz Boulevard. This is like early in COVID when it was like Mad Max out here. Mm-hmm. And well, one thing, I used to bike and run along the LA rivers. I lived on the river. And the last day biking, it was a really weird thing. I biked to Home Depot to get a hot dog for lunch. What is that? And I'm
means being single. That's what that is.
I think that is what that is. I'm biking back down the river, and there's a woman wiping her ass with her ass like pointed into the bike path. And I was like, done with the bike path. And then I'm walking down Los Feliz Boulevard. Well, one time I got trapped by two guys who were threatening me. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go in this direction away from where I need to go and just figure out a new place to live or something. Mm-hmm. And then around the same time, I'm going down the street. There's a guy on the other side of the street, has a machete, and he's swinging it. And I call the police. I was like, hey, just heads up. There's a guy who seems to be psychotic, and he's got like a big machete, and he's just swinging it on Los Feliz Boulevard. Like, this is a major street. And they go, is he threatening anyone directly? And I said, I mean, he didn't when I saw him, but he seemed like to be a psychotic person in a densely populated place, and he's swinging a machete. It seems like somebody may need to talk to him so no one gets hacked. And they go, yeah, we can't really do anything until he's already
Yeah.
stabbed someone.
They're like, he could be the real life Shogun. What do you know?
Right.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
He's keeping the streets safe is what he's doing.
What, like the first day when we lived downtown for like 8 months, the first day we were there, Amy, someone threw a bag. Well, you know how like trash, sometimes they'll be like, it's just so full of cans that liquid will come out of it?
Yeah.
Like that trash will eat, like trash water. It's disgusting.
Trash
They
punch.
just threw, unprovoked, they threw a garbage bag full of cans at Amy just on the street. Just threw. Yeah.
What?
No, and then after we moved in, we also there. Where's the parking garage? Oh, it's across the street. It's a couple blocks. So we walked over. We checked out. Okay, so this is where we're gonna be parking. You're just, it's one of those where you're like, this building isn't interesting. I just want to know where it is. You look up. You're there for 5 seconds, and while we're there in that 5 seconds, a guy runs down the parking garage ramp, sprints, and runs down the street. And about 10 seconds later, 3 dudes run after him carrying weapons, chasing after him. No one's screaming. No one's nothing. Because it's like, it's that area where you're like, screaming? What's screaming going to do?
What's screaming going to do?
What is it going to do? It's not going to do shit.
And parking garages.
No one cares over there. That's just how it is. That was our intro.
I almost got in a parking garage in Maryland. And man, I cannot remember what the name of this town is, but Marylanders and DC people who are listening will know. It's just to the east of Maryland. I had a gig out in like Waldorf when I was like two years into comedy. And on my way back, I saw that there was a Bojangles, and there just aren't many Bojangles north of Richmond, and it's the best. Bojangles is the best chicken biscuit you can buy.
Hey man, I did a commercial for him.
Oh, the dream, dude. Ever since Rory and I moved out here, we would always talk about opening a Bojangles, but we're like, yeah, we don't really have the time for it. And now 3 Bojangles are opening in LA. I'm going to be eating there 4 times a day. So I discovered there's a Bojangles in Maryland. I pull into the parking lot or the drive-through. I get my Bojangles, and I'm talking to Rory on the phone during this, by the way. As I called him to be like, dude, there's a fucking Bojangles here. And you couldn't pull back onto the highway. It somehow, like, this was in like a shopping center kind of thing. It made you go back into this neighborhood, and the nearest place you could actually make a U-turn was in a parking garage, like a vacant parking garage, completely unattended. There's no gate or anything. And as I'm pulling into the parking garage, I realize someone's tailing me. And as I realize this, I start to turn, and then they try to corner me, like my car up against a pole. And I'm in a 92 Corolla, by the way. I floored it and I dropped my phone, whipped the wheel around like fishtailed, and then floored it out. And they started to try to follow me, but then I got out because they were in like a big Caprice, like one of those like former cop cars that get sold on auction.
Yeah, Blues Brothers type. Yeah.
I got out, and Rory it's quiet for a second. Rory's like, hey, man, are you still there? So I picked my phone back up, and I was like, yeah, someone just tried to carjack me.
Yeah, I keep on adding on. I had a very similar situation. We've been living in LA for just a few months. Amy decides she wants to rescue a dog, and I'm in North Hollywood off of Camarillo, and there's an okay park nearby on the other side of a Starbucks, and I'm taking him for a walk. First ever walk. I'd had him for a couple of hours, and I'm walking around. I'm talking to Sean Donnelly on the phone. Oh, how's LA? How do you like LA? Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Walking around, and a woman sitting on her hood of a car with about, I don't know, her whole family there, Jamaican, starts yelling, Kingston, Kingston. And I'm like, I know she's yelling at me. I don't know. And then she runs over and picks up my dog off of the leash and tries to take him off of the leash and take him. He bites her, but she had already taken him off of the leash. He bites her and starts to run away. And of course, he doesn't know me very well. I just got the dog like the day
Right.
before.
Yeah. So she thinks it's her old dog named Kingston?
Right. And what he did not respond to Kingston, if anyone's wondering that. And what followed was about a 4-hour ordeal where I forget the name of the guy, but it was about 10 years ago. There was a guy who was going around the city killing cops. I forget his name. They ended up catching him in Big Bear. And so it was at that time. And so because of that, she kept on saying, I'm going to call the fucking cops on you. And I'm like, please go ahead, call the cops on me. The way I am with those situations is I get kind of like extra chill. I'm not confrontational at all. I just wait for them to kind of burn out. Like, like a
I just offer everyone a massage.
Yeah. and I'm like, please call the cops. Oh, I'm going to get my dog. Call the cops. And so because they're taking all these cops because of the situation, they're not taking any calls by themselves. It's 2 cop cars per call. And I'm just waiting. I call Amy. She's in the middle of doing a play down the street. She leaves the play while it's going on to come over. And there's a big confrontation then. And they're spitting on us. So we just separate and wait for the cops. And meanwhile, the woman's like, I know you. I know where you live. When my son gets out of prison, he's going to come over and kill you. That's my fucking dog. And for anyone who's like, every time I told the story, they're like, well, was it her dog? You just picked her up. It's like, no, the shelter had told us that he had been there 6 months. And also was out in Culver City. And she's saying, my son lost his dog 3 days ago. Her son that's in prison lost his dog 3 days ago. That's what she's selling.
Right.
And it's gotten this dog that was a prisoner's dog got from North Hollywood to Culver City.
Probably
in like
25 miles for anyone.
Right. A little dog. Yeah. Right.
Right. 25 miles all city. Too.
Right.
It's not like he's running through fields.
Right. And good about a highway there too. So she had no picture. She had no nothing. And the cops came around and it was like, it probably took 6 hours all told.
Oh my God.
But the whole thing, when it first started, it was like, I was on the phone with Sean and this woman started bitching me out. I hung up and he called later. Oh, dude, does everything, whatever. So the amount of things that happen to you while you're on the phone with a friend when you're in LA is what I'm getting to.
Wait a minute.
Woman nearly stole the dog.
Was this the dog you still have?
No. This dog.
Say, if it was that current dog, you probably would have been like, yeah, Kingston, take it.
Yeah, take him. Take him. Yeah, this is Kingston. Let me change his dog tags back. No. No, we had him for like 8 years.
Dude.
But yeah, that was pretty scary.
Can I tell you something?
Being there? Yeah.
Can I tell you something I did by accident? So I'll tell you, we have a mutual friend. He's probably fine with me saying his name. We'll just say Jesse Pop.
Okay.
I used to watch football at his place when he lived in LA. We usually watch Bears Lions at his house.
And way different back then. Yep.
I show up one day and just box after box in his place.
Bojangles?
No. Like shipping boxes.
Okay.
I was like, what's that? And he goes, well, I was really drunk last weekend and I woke up in the morning and my credit card was sitting on my computer. I checked my email and I bought the unabridged Oxford Dictionary, which it was seriously like 50 volumes. It was $3,000. Non-refundable, non-cancelable, unsellable. Couldn't even donate them. Libraries are like, yeah, we have dictionaries. We don't need a dictionary. Schools like, yeah, we don't need this. He tried to get rid of it everywhere possible. Ends up just having bookcases just full of the dictionary. $3,000.
Wow.
I did something almost as ridiculous. The only difference is the thing I accidentally bought has value and I can resell it. But Nick, Instagram targeted ads is like, it's like you think of something and you just get these ads, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I clicked on at one point, but I get ads for auctions for very expensive things.
Oh, okay.
I also got like something for like what was it, $3,000 suitcase. I'm like, why am I getting these things?
Did you
So
buy
like,
that suitcase?
no. But I get things for like Sotheby's and Bonham's auctions.
Okay.
And you know what it probably is? I probably had some for some like Roman coin or something, and I clicked on it because I was like, oh, how much is a Roman coin?
Right.
And that's probably why. And I still get it. I mean, if I see a Roman coin, I'm clicking on it.
That's just the kind of guy you are. Flying by the seat of your pants. Yeah. Okay.
In extreme exhaustion over like Thanksgiving at my parents' house, where I was staying up to like 2 a.m. playing spades every night. I guess I was just doodling on my phone in the middle of the night. No memory of this. I have an alert that I won an auction for an 18 karat gold Mont Blanc pen.
Wait, they sell gold pens? You bought a gold pen?
It's the Ramses II fountain pen. It's it's 18 karat gold and vermeil, which was a beloved gem or beloved stone or whatever of the Ramses of Ramses II.
What?
Yeah.
What? This?
So I
I'm
emailed
embarrassed
them
by what shit comes up on my Instagram now that I've heard that like the classy historic nonsense that comes up on yours.
Well, so I email them and I was like, yeah, I need to cancel this. I was like, I think just like a insomniac sort of stupor. I must have just clicked a few of the wrong things just to see what would happen. And I need to cancel this. And like, you can't cancel it.
Yeah, God.
And they're like,
the shit out of me. Yeah.
So it's the price plus a 20% fee. Plus, they were trying to charge me $200 US shipping. It was coming from the UK. I got the shipping
for a
down.
pen?
Yeah.
Granted, I'm sure it comes in a nice like protective box, but $200 for shipping a pen?
Well, here's the thing. It's not just shipping. Someone goes to the house of the seller, collects it, properly packages it, and then deliver and then ships it. So I was having a panic attack. But, well, all in, here's the thing. I think it was like just under $900, right? Absolutely
you fool.
Insane for a pen. But then I Google it. You know how much this thing fucking sells for? Depending on the condition, anywhere between $2,500 and $4,000. And I think I just happened to like luck into this auction that was closing on Thanksgiving Day or something. So Nick, we'll do it. We'll do an unboxing. Here's the box.
Wow. That's a cool looking box, I'll say that.
It's from the 90s. It's like this thing's like 30 years old.
I thought you said it was from Ramses.
Yeah, but they do like signature thing.
I know,
okay. Of course. All right.
Like you pulled it out of his tomb.
The extra book. You know, instead of pulling the pen out, I'll just show you the photos of it. It's the fountain pen.
I mean, it's a very attractive pen if you care about that kind of thing.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who needs to write with that?
Somebody that's bored. That's what you're going to do. Is that what you're going to be? Or if you'd found a new profession of like pen flipping?
I'm a pen flipper.
I wish. I love it.
Dude.
You know what I've gotten into? I just kind of stumbled into it. I flip pens.
I just stumbled into it.
I buy and sell pens.
And we're watching what's the show? Ripley right now.
Okay.
And he uses this Mont Blanc fountain pen when he signs everything, and then watching that I'm like, yeah.
That would be fun to carry around, and like anytime you have to sign, like when the HVAC comes around.
It's just
I want to use mine. Have you seen this pin from Ramses' tomb?
Yeah,
that's what I'm going to use to sign this. That's great. Only time to get insurance right there. Yeah. You know what? You don't get insurance. You do not get insurance on a couch. You got a Bob's Discount Furniture. That's when you don't get insurance.
Absolutely, you don't.
I'm never going there again. They'll just talk it up. We'll clean it. If it gets as much as a coffee stain on there, we'll have a team of guys out there the next day clean the whole thing. I'm like, all right, I'll get it. And then a year later, all right, I'm going to take them up on this. It does need to be cleaned. Just like just every single hoop in the universe that you have to jump through. Just
For them to
they
clean
will
your
not
coffee
return a
table?
call. They will not look at a picture. None of the pictures actually upload on their bullshit site. Oh
Oh
God.
my God.
Yeah. I never get duped into that. I didn't buy the
Yeah.
warranty on the car, which is hilarious, by the
Oh,
way.
you
You
should.
buy a car now, they take you into that office. They're like, "Hey, do you want the extended warranty for $3,000?" I'm like, "Absolutely not. No offense. I'm not getting this." And she's like, "Okay, how about for 1,000?" I'm like, "You mean you dropped it by
Wait a minute.
two grand when I said one thing?"
Wow. See, it might depend on what type of car it is and how much repair work is.
Is
And
made from Ramsey's Mont Blanc pens.
no, I got the extended warranty on my car, and I've had over $20,000 of replacements on the car for free because of the warranty. So it's like my warranty expires in 2 weeks, and I'll basically have a brand new engine.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I mean, you're the first one I've ever heard say anything like any kind of an endorsement for it at all.
Well,
Everyone else I've ever known has been like, that was a huge mistake.
I think the difference is if you get a Japanese car, you don't need it because repairs are cheap.
Yeah.
And I have a German car, and
Oh,
they're like notoriously expensive
I
to
thought you had a
work.
Peruvian car.
I have a
I thought you were going to say something. You know how it is in Uruguay. If you get a car from Uruguay, they're great, but you're in the shop every other week. Very expensive. I got a
Nick.
hypothetical for you since we're running out of time.
Okay, if you're not gonna buy my pen, I was putting it out there to let you be the first.
To bid on it, I'll give you $20 for it, and I'll give it to you now over Zelle.
I know that's the thing. $20, even that would feel extremely expensive for a pen.
Absolutely. But now that I've seen the pen and it comes with a book, that's different. All right, so I've got one that I found on Reddit and one that I just came up with. Here's the one on Reddit. Here's literally what it said. Would you jack off more or less than you do now if when you came, it came out as one humongous sperm that you had to fight? That's the Reddit hypothetical. And the comments were divided. Some people were like, I would never jerk off again. And some people were like, I would jerk off more if I had to fight the
Meaning
one big
fight.
sperm.
What do you mean by fight?
You have to fight the one big sperm
You
that
actually
comes
fight?
out. Yeah, that's the hypothetical. I don't know, from Reddit.
Like
When
you
you
fight
jerk off,
against it?
yeah, the sperm it comes out as one big one that's like this body that you have to fight. Would you then jerk off more or less? That was the question. I think I would jerk off a lot less if I had to fight right afterwards.
I mean, yeah, I think I would never do it again, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're a pacifist. You're also not much for adventure. So,
I like safety.
here's my real one. Okay. You get a special on HBO or Netflix,
Mhm.
whatever you want it.
Mm-hmm.
You get it's a fat check.
Mm-hmm.
Special is going to be great. It's all pretty much guaranteed. It's going to be awesome. The problem
Mm-hmm.
is that you have ostrich knees.
What does that
So
mean?
you have knees that are backwards. Your legs bend backwards and you walk around on stage like an ostrich. You've got to make some jokes about it. This is how you're known. This is your thing. Everybody's always joking about their disability. And now you're no longer Ryan Connor, this intellectual, this intellectual observational comic, whatever you want to say. Yeah, he's got funny stuff on everything. Now it's just Ryan Connor, ostrich knees. That's what you are.
Are they only ostriching on stage or for my entire life?
No, just on stage. Like you from
The rest of
now
my
on,
life, I have normal knees.
you go on stage. Yeah. You take this this catch out of your knee, and then suddenly they bend backwards, and it's like everybody in the whole arena is like ostrich Ryan.
And that's all they want to talk about. That's all they want to see. Is
Yeah,
me
you're
doing
just
some sort of
basically a
ostrich
freak.
bits.
Yeah.
So
Like
this guy started walking toward me, like, and you have to just keep working in the wall.
you can do your act, but basically after your punchline, you've got to like strut
This
around.
regular need motherfucker walks up to me. Dude,
Is it worth it? Like to immediately have something that's undeniably like I
So
don't
like
know.
I'm selling
Outrageous.
out at this point. I'm selling out theaters, right?
Yes. To go see
And
Ostrich comic.
but my whole act pretty much has to be about the ostrich sneeze.
It doesn't have to, but you've got to incorporate it a lot. You're
I just
walking
have to
around
address
stage a lot. You've got to.
If I just have to address it, I'll do it. If it becomes the whole act, I can't do it.
It's a
If it's
lot
just
of your act in the first special for sure, because I mean, you have to talk about it. You can't
what's
just
the
do it for 30
backstory?
seconds.
I woke up like this.
Yeah, basically, you woke up, be like, it can come and go. You're like, I can walk like a normal person, but
I do it. I would absolutely do it. Would you do it?
You know, maybe I would. Maybe I would. Although, like, the writing goes out the window. It doesn't really matter what you're saying anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, you could make a killing just like going to schools.
Right. Well, if you that's
Anybody
sort of
want
the
a
question.
race?
Is it always or is it just on stage?
On stage.
Yeah, I mean, I take that in a heartbeat.
Really?
Dude, you know how much you make doing theaters if you sell out?
Yeah, but that's like
You're making like $50,000-$60,000 a night.
But it wouldn't bother you, like, well, you wouldn't be in your head the whole time, like, what am I doing? I'm walking around like an ostrich.
Dude,
my knees are
it's just
backwards.
I just got to work it in. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. I could work 20 nights a year, and I'm loaded.
Yeah, but you have to talk a lot about your knees.
I think you just do at the beginning, and then you work it into the closer.
I don't. I think that people would get upset if you stop talking about it. I think if you haven't talked about it in 10 minutes, they'd be like, "Go back to your knees. We want to hear more your weird
You start
knees."
out because you have to address it from the walkout, right? And then you just do you're doing your material, and you're standing still, mostly standing still. You make you might
But
make
even if you're
slight
standing,
movements.
have you not seen an ostrich? Like they're
Yeah, but
like even if they're standing.
If a joke bombs, then you do the ostrich move to get him back. You just go,
Okay, all right, fine. How about if it's all the time, not just on stage?
all the time. No, I would not do it.
All right.
It's too.
If you
much,
could do it just
man.
for a year, you're like, I'm going to do it for 1 year, and then I get my old knees back. Like you have an operation.
But I'm still selling out theaters.
You can do one every night for the whole year if you want to.
I'll do it for a year. I'll do it for a year.
And then you just, okay, all right. And you're
Would you?
really fast, but you're fast in just kind of a grotesque way. You could run like...
So wait a minute. If I had ostrich speed, I'd also run in the Olympic trials.
Sure, you could do that. Although they may say that you'd have to be in Special Olympics, and then you're fucking blowing people away. You're blowing people
How
away.
fucked up would that be? I'm in the Paralympics, just shattering records. It's so rude. It's so rude.
Yeah, people find out that you had a surgery to do the Paralympics.
It's like Rookie of the Year. I would absolutely do it. Would you do it? You'd do it, right?
I probably would. Yeah, I would. Just for the story, just to freak people out and like have some fun with it. And like it's gonna be the first line in your obit for sure. Like you can't top it. You could be a great father. You could do all kinds of great things, philanthropy, whatever. First line is going to be you elected to have a surgery to have ostrich knees for 1 year. I would try to spin it as like, somebody dared me. Somebody dared me to do it and never say no to a dare.
Yeah.
Lost a bet.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I take it.
There was that guy who lost a bet, and so he had he got I think C cups.
No.
Yeah, it was a few years ago. No, this happened. He got C cup C cup tits because he lost a bet.
What kind of bet? That sounds like he wanted to lose the bet if he still went through with it. Who doesn't walk away from that bet?
What? You'd welch on the bet?
If it was that, first of all, I wouldn't make that bet.
Time to pony up.
Yeah, I just go,
get some decups,
look,
Ryan.
it's clear we're not making this bet, right? It's clear we're not following through. Dude, from check this out. So for my fantasy league, the loser has to carry this. Like it's a keychain that's about 2 feet long, but
Yeah.
also because people don't use keys as much now, um, the league is to pick the cell phone case for the year. And my vote for this past year was this one that looks like a quarter dark of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It's the leg and the thigh at actual size, and then the phone goes into the thing, right? I lost it won't fit in a pocket. You have to put it in like a Boston Market plate. That's the only place you can carry your phone around. It lost to this sort of glittery clutch style purse where the phone is part of the purse and has a handle. So our friend who's a lawyer has this. He has to take it to court every day and all this stuff. He says it's very weird because he's like with victims and he's like got his phone there on the table.
A few years ago, my commercial agent was like, they asked for you specifically. Can you come up with? And every once in a while, this would have commercials where you would like, can you recruit a friend who like isn't a client of ours, somebody that you're friends with? In this case, on a fantasy team.
Yeah.
So I got JB Ball and Paul Lair, and they were like, film like 10 minutes of you guys like arguing about fantasy stuff. And so we did a Zoom and filmed it, and they liked it. And then we did another one, and they liked that one again. And it's like, okay, it looks like we're booking this. And it didn't pay a ton, but it was cool to like be able to hook up a couple of friends with like, making like $2,500 or something. And so finally, day of, we do a Zoom callback. It's like, this is basically just like going through the motions. We just have to make sure, just answer some questions right. And they're like, well, so what would you do? The loser, what is the loser going to have to do when they lose your league? And Paul came up with something and JB came up with something. And it was like, I don't want to say pedestrian, like it was pretty funny, but it wasn't like what you just said. And then I said, I think the loser should have to donate $300 to Marjorie Taylor Greene's campaign.
That's great.
And it bombed. It got nothing. Like they laughed when Paul said his thing, like dressing up as the Joker or whatever. They laughed when JB said his thing. Again, kind of pedestrian, like just a commercial safe. Commercial safe.
It's hilarious to make
Thank
someone
you.
do that.
And
it's so funny.
It had gotten laughs in conversation, and I said it, and it got
just
nothing. Like no one said a thing, and they booked it, and I did not because I made that joke. And then I find out that the guy that I joked with most about this, like a good friend of mine back in LA, about the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, that he knew the dude who shot that commercial and was like the main guy on that commercial. And had I just said something to him about it, like he could have got me on anyway. But it's like, man, could commercials be less fun? That it always has to be this like corporate humor.
It's ridiculous.
It's fucking lame. Like, that's a pretty funny thing to say.
It's hilarious. Well, we're voting on the phone case for next year right now. The two leaders there's this one case that telescopes. You can't actually look at the phone until this thing is flipped out like a transformer.
Yeah, it's good. That's good.
And it's about 2.5 feet long. So you have to hold it around your waist in order to look at it at your face. It's pretty amazing. He goes, like, it's like it opens like a butterfly knife, except it just gets longer and longer. The other option is an old school briefcase. Just carrying the briefcase, the only thing in it is the phone.
I like that. I mean, like Indiana Jones kind of thing.
As hell. No, just like an old business briefcase.
Oh, I like it. Just
where you have to click the things and it goes whoop, and it opens up.
It would be a notch better, although maybe unreasonable, if you had to handcuff the briefcase to your to your wrist. Yeah.
Before we play Rank Them, can I tell you the best losing your fantasy league punishment I've ever seen? This was on, I think it was on ESPN or something. This league, I'm sure they only did this for 1 year. The loser had to play a qualifying round for the U.S. Open.
You're right.
I mean, that's golf, by the way, not tennis. So
I understand.
if you're a member of a club, you can play in a qualifier. You just have to pay the registration fees. Ends up costing like $1,500 or something to just be able to play this round. But there's a full account of it. This random guy who plays golf a few times a year ends up playing around with people. He's got 2 guys in his group playing, trying to actually make the U.S. Open. And he said his first 2 holes, he quadruple bogeyed both of them. And he said the other 2 guys were like parred out, and they were just looking at him like, what is up with this guy? And
man, what a good sport, though, man. What a good sport.
And at the 3rd tee box, they're like, how you feeling, bud? And he's like, look, I'm only here because I lost my fantasy league in the South Punishment. And he said the guys thought it was really funny, but they were like, you need to play very fast. Like, we don't care if you're terrible, just don't slow us down, please.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's like, okay. He shot something like a 130. Did not qualify. Just imagine you're playing with pros and semi-pros. It's like showing up to an NBA tryout and you've never touched a ball in your life.
Yeah.
And you're committed to 2 days of trying out for the NBA.
Last time you played was 25 years ago in church league. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it.
Yeah,
you ready
that's
to play
awesome.
Rank Them?
Give me a rank 'em. We went way over.
All right, Rank Them is a game where I list 3 permanent attributes. These apply to someone who's perfect for you in every other way, except for these 3 defining characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
You have to rank them. Okay. Number 1, ends every conversation with, and not just with you, with everyone. They end every conversation with, "Be safe." I mean it. Be safe. Okay,
like,
you know what I mean.
Sincerity.
Right? Be careful.
Okay.
Right. Just the amount of be safes that it worries you. Where you're like, does this person think I'm going to die? Do they have information? So here, this is the full quote. Be safe. I mean it. Be safe. Okay, you know what I mean, right? Be careful.
No, I don't know. Okay. All right.
That one. That's number 1. Number 2, ends every conversation with, I don't know nothing about Sandusky except he taught them boys how to tackle.
Wait, how many conversations does he end?
Every conversation ends with, I don't know nothing about Sandusky except he taught them boys how to tackle.
All right, 90% of conversations, that's hilarious, but okay.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, ends every conversation with, look, Nick keeps trying to convince me that Santa isn't real, by the way. So just keep an eye on him.
Okay.
Because that one's like mental illness.
I would... Every conversation.
All
right.
I mean, like,
I wouldn't be with the person, period.
Not a transaction at McDonald's, but anything that's like
I understand.
a conversation.
Not a high, whatever. I mean, any look, I wouldn't end up with this person. All of them are deal breakers. Every single one of them.
No,
they're probably all like neck and neck with the scratching, the huge scar, the gash on the side of the face. The Christmas one, the Santa one that's probably the worst.
That's the worst, the Santa one?
The safe is really bad. Sandusky's probably my favorite of them because it's the funniest.
I don't know nothing about Sandusky except he taught them boys how to tackle.
Yeah.
That's your number 1?
Yeah, I think it is because it's so amusing. But the be safe is just so annoying. And the Santa is worrying. It's worrisome.
The Santa one's worrying, right?
Yeah, it is. So that's what I would do. I guess I would go. I would go 3-1-2.
I did it then. I was trying to get you to pick the Sandusky one.
Yeah, you did.
I I haven't thought about this yet. Whenever someone says be safe to me, it freaks me out for 24 hours. So that cannot be number one. I hate when people do this. Don't say that. Especially getting on a flight. Be safe. I have no control over the flight. This isn't my realm.
It's like when people toast to their health,
driving,
and I'm like, you're going to jinx us.
What do you think I normally do when I drive?
Do you look reckless? Apparently, you look like Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yeah. Right.
God needed a driver. He keeps trying to convince me that Santa isn't real, by the way.
No.
Keep an eye on him.
Nope.
That's got to be last. That's got to be last because I thought that was going to be number one. That's good. That's definitely third. Be safe.
So we agree.
Be safe. Okay, you know what I mean. Be careful, right? Be careful. Dude, I agree with you completely. I didn't think this was going to happen.
The first one doesn't come off sincere. The other two do. One is pathetic, and the other one is sad.
Well, the thing with the Sandusky one is it has plausible deniability wrapped up in the sentence. I don't know nothing about Sandusky except he taught them boys how to tackle.
Right.
So you're saying I don't know about this other stuff. I just know he taught him how to tackle.
Yeah.
That's all I know about.
That's what I would go with. Sadly, I wouldn't. They're all deal breakers, but that's what I would go with.
To be clear, I don't like them. I mean, I'm shocked, but we look. Okay, look, guys. If you want to check me out, go to dalejr.com. RyanConnorComedy.com, and you can get my book. Watch special, all these things. And
yeah, man.
Nick, what about yourself?
Nick_Cobb 78. Man, I don't know that I just had a great show with Brendan Fitzgibbons, our Christmas extravaganza at the Comedyplex.
And where can they find a time machine to watch this show?
They can't. It's not available. Maybe actually Brendan probably recorded some of that, so maybe that'll be up on my Instagram at some point. But I really got nothing right now.
Okay, well, that's good enough. Guys, thanks for listening or watching, however you take this in. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, and be careful what auctions you bid on in the middle of the night because you can't sleep. You might win one, and then you're screwed, all right? You end up with a bunch of these ink cartridges here.
Ramsey's pens. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you.
I got to go check on my son.
All right.
I'm going to call you.
Just a couple of guys palling around, coming out of your speakers, a beautiful sound. They debate, berate, and have a laugh or two. Connor v. Cobb, for me and for you. La 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 la, la 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 la. Connor v. Cobb, for me and you. Ryan and Nick. Nick and Ryan. The Scoundrels of the Hour.